Time for the business news now, and that's with Juliet. Hi.
Thanks very much. Hi. Let's start with the news that Southend in Essex has experienced the biggest house price rise of any town or city during 2012. That's according to the mortgage lender Halifax. The town in the southeast of England saw prices rise by 15% compared with a 1% average fall across the UK as a whole. But the biggest house price drop was in Cregevin in Northern Ireland. Well, joining me now in the studio is a housing expert, Henry Pryor. A very good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Does that figure surprise you? Because 15% is pretty substantial.
Well, there will be those disingenuous enough to suggest that, of course, Southend had a long way to come. But I think we'll find that, as with many of the winners from this survey, they are in close proximity to London. They are in the affluent southeast. And we have to remember that 40% of all the very few numbers of transactions that we've seen through 2012 were actually cash purchases. So the number of people requiring a mortgage because of mortgage availability being so difficult has actually shrunk, and we haven't seen it this low for quite some time.
Right, but let's pick up on that point that you made about Southend's geography. That really points to a much wider trend, doesn't it? The nature of what a commuter is. Once upon a time, commuting to work was getting the train or the bus. Now, some people take a plane. They have to come back somewhere comfortable and easy to access those transport routes.
Well, there's a lot going for Southend. If one shakes off the mirth for a moment, Southend Airport, for example, owned by the Eddie Stobart Truck Company, is growing massively at the moment. And as you rightly say, commuting and accessibility, particularly with its proximity to the Thames Estuary and the new container port that's going in there, these are all reasons why these parts of these little hotspots bubble up, and why those who residents of Southend have had an exceptionally good Christmas.
Right, but there's still a game of two halves being played out here, because we had this rather disappointing figure coming through from Northern Ireland, and it does appear that if you are in the affluent southeast of the country, you are quids in. If you're outside that magic circle, then that's where you're going to get hit the hardest.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm afraid that the winners very much mask the majority of people in the UK who have been losers. As this survey has illustrated, if you move away from the gated community of London and the south east, you'll find that house prices have trended down, and in some cases have trended down considerably. The big concern for us going into 2013 is that a lot of people have now lost the equity that they perhaps put down when they bought in 2006 and 2007. That equity has now evaporated, and they don't have the required deposits that are needed in order to be able to move on. So we've seen perhaps a million or 1.5 million people who are effectively prisoners in their own home, unable to move.
OK, a rather grim picture there, but Henry Pryor, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us with your analysis of that data.